Jai Hind viewers, I am Sudhakar Dwivedi, Assistant Professor in Information Technology Department. And today we are going to break down one of the most exciting technology of this time, that is known as the blockchain. And we will discover today what is the blockchain and who have invented the blockchain and how blockchain works in the various areas and how we get benefited from this exciting technology. So let's start. So what exactly the blockchain is? So if we talk about this technology, the blockchain, what the new features it provides in this domain. So if we talk about the blockchain, so first we will look about this technology, that means what the blockchain exactly provides, how it works, and some of the real world use cases we will see today in our lecture. So what exactly the blockchain is? So if we define the blockchain, so the blockchain is nothing but it's a distributed digital ledger. That means record of the transaction that is available to all the participants. We can say it's a database that is shared across the networks. But once the data is entered, once the data is created, once the ledger is created, it cannot be changed, it cannot be deleted. That means it is immutable. And every record or a block is also linked to the one of the before it. And so it creates a chain of the block. That's why it is known as a blockchain. So we can see it's a distributed ledger technology. So the whole technology that is known as a blockchain is based on the distributed ledger technology. And we can see here, the ledger is distributed to all the peers. This ledger is distributed to all the peers, all the systems. And each ledger is connected to the previous one. That means the same ledger is available to all the systems at once. So we can define this blockchain. So if we see, the one block have a number of the transactions, it contains the number of transactions, and the block is connected to its previous block. So if we talk about the block n, it's also connected to its previous block, block n minus 1. So at this time we can say the blockchain is a digital or decentralized and distributed ledger that records the transactions across many nodes or computers in the network. And it consists of a chain of the block. If we see, it consists of chain of the blocks. There is a number of the blocks. That means there may be thousands of the transactions or million of transactions. And one block can group a number of transactions. So it consists of a chain of blocks, with each block containing a transaction data, a timestamp, and a hash that is connected with the previous block. So if we see the structure of the block, each block may contain the header of the block, the address or the hash of its previous block, the timestamp, that means the creation of this block, the nonce value, and the Merkle root. So this is the structure of the one block. That one block may contains a group of the transactions and some other information. And if we see the detailed structure of this block, so we can see here the transactions are grouped. So at the very detailed level, if we want to see the block, so here we can see the transactions are first grouped and the hash value of this transaction is calculated. Again, the hash value of another label is grouped and we find another hash value till we reach at the root level. And this root information is stored at the Merkle root. So this is the overall structure of the block in the blockchain. But what exactly the blockchain is? The blockchain is just a decentralized distributed ledger that is available across the network, that is available to all the peers across the networks. So the core part of this blockchain is the decentralized distributed ledger. That means it's a database that is shared across the network. What are the key features? What the blockchain provides actually? So as we have discussed, the core part of this blockchain is the distribution and the decentralized ledger that is distributed across the networks, that is available to all the peers in the networks. And the first and the foremost feature is it provides the decentralization. That means to store the data, to maintain the data, there is no central authority who have command to all the data. That means there is no single point of the failure. If we have all the data stored on a single point, and if that single point it fails, we can lose whole of the data. We can lose the complete data, or we can manipulate or control the complete data. So we need the decentralization of the storage. So this blockchain technology provides the decentralization, and yes, it also provides a transparency. That means the data is available to all the peers. Data is available across the system. So anyone can see the data. And also once the data is entered, it cannot be changed. It cannot be deleted, because the same data is available to all the peers or all the participants in the network. So if we want to make some changes in the data, it is very hard to make the changes. We cannot make the change in the data. And it is secure. It is very secure data, and we have secured this data. So some techniques of the cryptography that we will discuss in the next slides. But at this point of the time, many people associate this blockchain technology with the cryptocurrency, that is Bitcoin. But there is a difference between the Bitcoin and the blockchain technology. So most of the people associate the blockchain with the cryptocurrencies, but its application go beyond that, and we will discuss it today. So the first and foremost thing, it provides a decentralization. So we can see what the centralization and decentralization. So we can see here, in the centralized system, there is a central authority who maintains the data. And if this central authority fails, the whole data we can lost. Or this central authority have whole command, whole power to maintain or manipulate this data. But if we see the decentralized system, here are a number of the nodes, a number of the peers, and all have the same data available. All have the same control. No one have the full authority on the data. Everyone has the same authority. But in the centralization system, the whole authority goes to a single person or the single authority. How the blockchain works, how this system works actually. So whenever we have made some transactions, whenever we have added some information to this network, so the information or the transactions first grouped into a block. So we collect the number of the transactions and we make a block. Then that block is verified by the network by some consensus algorithms. Some of the proof of work, proof of stake algorithms. These algorithms then verified the block, and once the block is verified, it is added to the chain. And once the block is added, that means the group of transaction is added to the network. Now it is permanent. Now it cannot be changed. And everyone on the network can see the same chain, the same data that is shared across the networks. So making any change to the data or to hack the data is very hard. But in the centralization system, the whole authority is only available to the central one, central authority or the central person or the a group of the person. So manipulation in the central system was very easy. But if we talk about this decentralized system, because the data is available to all the participants, so making any changes to this system is very hard. So if we want to make the change, that means we need to change at all the available networks. And to make the data change or updated at every system in this network is very hard. So what makes this technology so powerful? Why the blockchain technology that we are going to discuss today is most exciting technology of this time? Because the blockchain gives us something that we have never really had before in the digital system. What we got with this technology? We got a trust without a middleman. Previously, we were talking about a centralization system. Suppose I am going to discuss about a transaction in the banking system. So if we wanted to make some transactions, if we want to send some money to some other person, so we need a trusted system or trusted authority to which we can trust upon. That. So whatever money we want to send to other person, that trusted authority or that central system detect the exact or same amount that we wanted to send to another person, and is exactly added the same amount to the recipients. So I have to trust upon on the some central authority. But if the central authority is manipulated in some way, the whole transaction may fail or may manipulate it. That means we have to make a trust upon some trusted authority. There may be some trusted authority who can manage our transactions. But what the blockchain gives us, it makes the trust without a middleman. There is no middleman involved in this process. And once the data is entered, it cannot be changed. In the centralized system, the data can be manipulated. But in this system, once the data is created, it cannot be changed. And one of the exciting features is we can trace whole data, whole the history of the transaction. And it provides a complete transparency in this system. And one of the most exciting feature of this technology is the security. So we can encrypt our data. So we can provide a security through the encryption, through the cryptography, through the digital signature mechanism, so that we can authenticate the sender of the data. And this we can see, it's open a door to the new ways of the doing business. That is more direct, safer and fastest. So this technology actually opens a new door. That means a new way of doing the business. As we have said that this technology provides some of the existing features, and how we can understand this technology, how it is working in the various domains. Most of the people thinks it is only related to the cryptocurrency. But today we are going to discuss this technology beyond the cryptocurrency. And we will see how this technology have changed the whole business scenario. And now we connect this with a supply chain. How the whole supply chain system is changed with these exciting features. So as we can see, the modern supply chains are very complex. A number of stakeholders are involved, from the manufacturer end to the customer end. As we can see, the product passes through the multiple parties, from manufacturer to suppliers to warehouses, then logistics, then retailers. That means we can see a number of stakeholders are involved. And to track their journey in this complex system is very tough. That means the traditional systems are error prone and slow. And if some problem is happen, it may take a more time to trace the source of the problem. That means if we are talking about some food supply chain, if a batch of the food is contaminated, it might take a days or the weeks to trace the source of this contamination. And that's where the blockchain steps in. That means how we can solve this problem with some technology. And blockchain provides the solution for this. And blockchain, what does? the blockchain creates a shared and tamper-proof ledgers that all parties can trust, all stakeholders can trust, and all stakeholders can get a real-time updates of the information. Because in the earlier systems, if any stakeholders wanted to update their information, so what would be the possible solutions? The possible solution was maybe a portal where one stakeholders can update their information. But what is the guarantee that the stakeholders update the correct information to the portal? That means if any stakeholders is not providing a correct information to the web portal, so in this way, the whole supply chains may fail. So blockchain steps in this concepts, and it provides a tamper-proof ledger that is shared across the parties. So once the information is updated, it is also verified by all the participants. That means the information is correct or not. Then only it will be added. Also, if in the previous system, one stakeholders is not updating the information in time, so it may provide the information much later. That means the information delay, due to the information delay, there may be again some problems in the supply chains. So real-time updation is also necessary. So blockchain provides the real-time updates, and it also provides a complete transparency because the whole information is available to every participants, and it may provide the faster recalls by observing all these history. So this is the case that happened with the supply chains, and we are studying about how the blockchains can address this type of the problems. Now we will look at the real example that will happen with the Walmart. So I am taking the example of the Walmart today. And the result, we have got that traceability is improved. And the time that we have spent from 7 days or the weeks to just trace the source of the contamination, it just reduced to some seconds. As we can see, it just reduced to 2.2 seconds. That's right. That is right. It is just reduced from days to some seconds. That is the game changer compared to 7 days it previously took. So it minimizes the time also. We can just find out the source of the contamination. So what did Walmart gain from using the blockchain? How the Walmart gets success or is totally manage his supply chains using the blockchain? As we can see, the first and the foremost thing, the time that we were spending in that to trace our journey, it just reduced from 7 days to 3 seconds. We have now the more accurate and more detailed information. We can recall our product immediately. Reduction in the food waste, because we can take the decision immediately. We have all the information at every step. And now, the consumer's point of view, we have got a greater trust. That means it enhances the accountability at every stage of the supply chain, because the information is available at every step. And the result of this technology is we have a smarter, safer, and more transparent supply chain. That means if we implement the blockchain in the supply chain, so by updating the information in this type of the network, that means the data is available to all the participants That means the same ledger is available to the every participant in the network, and it is immediately available to all the participants. To change business data is very difficult in one way, and on the other hand, the traceability and the transparency is improved. But what's the technology behind the scene? The technology that is working behind the scene is the decentralization. That means there is no centralization authority who are managing or controlling whole data. There is no single point of failure. All partners, all the participants see the same data at the same time. So the decentralization is the features, is the key that is working behind this blockchain technology. Immutability. Once the data is entered into this system, it cannot be changed. That builds a trust. That means data once entered, it cannot be modified. There is some self-executing codes that is known as the smart contracts. That is may be known as the automated rules for the compliance that may alerts and transactions that can execute the transactions, and so that we can get the whole history of the product life by tracking the history of the transactions. That means from farm to fork. And this is the blockchain feature that Walmart have used. That means Walmart case teaches us how technology can solve a real human problems. Now, we can answer a big question. As we have seen, so we have maintained just a decentralized and distributed ledger. That means once we have entered information, it is immediately available to all the partners. So what we have done actually, we have moved from the central authority to the decentralized authority. So at this step, we can answer a big question. What exactly the blockchain is? So what exactly the blockchain is? As we have discussed about the blockchain. So at this time, we will talk about where it came from, who invented it, how it was first used in a system that changed the whole world. For today's lecture, that's it from my side. Thank you so much.